we're going to rewrite this equation into vertex form. So I've written vertex form here just to remind you that it looks like a parenthesis squared, and then you have the plus or minus out here. It's called vertex form because H and K represent the vertex of the parabola. So to begin with, we're going to have to complete the square. So let me do a little bit of rearranging to set things up so that we can complete the square. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is to factor out this coefficient of x squared. I'm actually going to factor out a negative, but I'm only going to factor it out of the first two terms. I'm going to leave that minus 5 by itself. And then I've also put some blanks in place because in order to complete the square, we're going to have to add something. I want you to see that really I have a negative that gets distributed to this blank. So whatever I put in this blank is being subtracted. I'm going to balance it on the same side by adding the exact same value here. So you may be thinking, what value do I put in that blank? So I'm glad you asked. We're actually going to take the number in front of the x squared, the coefficient here, and we're going to divide it in half. And that gives me a negative 4. Then I square this number to go in the blank. So let me recap what I did there. I took the number in front of x squared and I divided it by 2. That gave me negative 4. Then I square it to put this value in the blank. So I'm actually going to put a 16 here, and I'm going to put the same value there in this blank. Now we can go ahead and factor into a parenthesis squared. Remember, we're trying to look like this. So how does x squared minus 8x plus 16 factor? Very easily. We know the square root of x squared is x. Then remember how we divided this number by 2 and then squared? Well, if we just divide it by 2, then we get the number that goes in the parentheses here. So let me recap. When we take this number in front of x and we divide by 2, that gives us the number that goes in the parentheses. We have to square it before we put it in the blank. Now let's take care of this piece. I've got negative 5 plus 16. That will give me positive 11. There you go. I've got my square. I've got my vertex form. What is my vertex? Remember, it's H and K, so it's 4, 11.